No DQ Galaxy and Simply Predicting Community, who will be able to work with the clock as it runs up and meet the expectation to lead to the ultimate opportunity as we finally approach NXT's final PLE of 2023. This is Simply Predicting NXT Deadline. Hello, everybody, and welcome once again to Simply Predicting here on the Simple Man's Brand and Cast 18 Studios. As always, you know what this is. I'm the Simple Man of the Simple Brand and the voice of the JMM for grateful professional wrestling. Damn it! And my name is Noel Foster, and with me tonight is, of course, my color analyst, and this is his NXT. Damn it! But I digress. The renegade of NXT, JJ Williams. I also have Mr. Reliable here for the first time ever on Simply Predicting. Welcome to the family. Walter Cruz, you know him as a great friend and, of course, correspondent on the review and other videos with no DQ. And as always, one of my fellow horsemen of predictions in all 5 leagues, it's Christopher Rotz, and we'll get his spots back when he's on screen. That being said, shout out to everybody in the chat. Appreciate you all. Please like, subscribe, comment, tell a friend. And if you want to dictate the conversation, donate to Dictate at Cast 18 Studios. Super chat's as simple as that. But as we talk about matches, if you want to throw your predictions towards the matches we talk about, I will happily put them up on screen. You also will find the form to the NXT at PLE in both chats at Cast 18 Studios and my channel as well. So before we get into things, first up, Walter, again, welcome to City Predicting for the first time ever, and welcome to NXT Deadline. This is the last NXT PLE 2023, and I'll admit, this is definitely a unique standout presentation, to say the least. How you feel about this show on a scale of 1 to 10? Where's your excitement?
My excitement now is about an 8. It was at a 10. I was supposed to go see it live because it's about a half hour from me, but I couldn't get the time off from work. But so now it's just at 8. But that's just me being a personal thing on it. But no, I'm really looking forward to it. I can't wait to get to be able to watch it and see what happens because it's a little bit unpredictable. It's hard to pick these ones.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's always good to have you here, and thank you for those spots. And at the end of the day, if you can't be there live, you can enjoy it within the comfort of your home with your family. So I do hope you enjoyed the show. Chris, good to see you again. This is the last event for NXT. Again, you've been participating in all 5 leagues as the WWE PLE 1 ends. Now this weekend ends both NXT and Impact. But on a scale of 1 to 10, how you feel about NXT Deadline?
Well, I'm looking forward on Deadline this coming Saturday night. It's going to be an awesome show. I'm going to give this an 8 out of 10. The NXT Championship match is going to be great. The 2 Iron Survivor Challenges matches I'm really looking forward to is the fresh matches, fresh competitors, and this is actually everybody's first time being in these Survivor Challenges, and nobody has won these before. So it's going to be kind of interesting, but whatever happens. I want to say yeah to NoDQ.com, and good luck to everybody that is competing in the final prediction league for NXT in 2023 before we go on to our first NXT Premium Live event of 2024, and that's on Saturday, February 4th, NXT Vengeance Day.
As far as we know, don't give WWE ideas, dadgummit, but I digress. And last but certainly not least, and most importantly, in my opinion, the guy that got me back into this version of NXT, where I no longer have the 4-word quote graphic. I now have this because I truly can admit this NXT is better than what it used to be, but I digress. JJ, this is your stage. This is your show. This is your brand. It's always good to see you, my friend. On a scale of 1 to 10, how you feel about our call this weekend for NXT Deadline?
I'm looking forward to it, man. This is going to be a really good show. The matches are stacked. It's just going to be a huge night of excitement. I don't know how it's going to be coming off of the heels of Final Resolution, which of course you guys will be calling prior to Deadline.
Correct.
You know, double features are what they are, unfortunately, but still, I think it's going to be a hell of a show, and I'm looking forward to it, and I'm looking forward to discussing it with everybody. Let's freaking go.
Right. All right, so there you go. Let's freaking go. And that being said, before without further ado, Sean, Aaron Riff doesn't do prediction shows for NXT, but I want to give a shout out to the boss man, as again, for the first time in ODQ history, I guess you could say, we separated NXT from main level WWE. Case in point, as this is the NX Team League of No DQ. And somehow I'm freaking leading as we enter the final show. And for those that don't know, I literally scored all like this. I don't know how I've won practically 4 of the 5 shows. And of course, the Galaxy, your opinions matter too. As you not only challenge the team, you challenge your friends, you challenge each other as well. Congratulations, Ashley. You're so far leading, but still anybody's game as Chaz, Sienna, Chris Baratz, Atomic Cody, the analyst Michael Wayne, Charlene, they're all right there up there too. So again, folks, get your opinions in, get your predictions in. And yes, these leagues will reset in 2024 across the board too. But without further ado, gentlemen and fellow virtual analysts in the chat, let's get right into it. So again, we have 7 matches here, and we actually have a kickoff match. I don't know about the WWE in general, but lately it does seem for your NXT, JJ, they like to do kickoffs. And after what happened with Brawls Galore on your NXT, Axiom and David Frazier wanted to run it back, and so they're going to do that. We've seen these two in countless one-on-one classic occasions, going all the way back to my black and red NXT UK. It is a one-on-one match. It is as simple as that. I think it's a battle of pride and probably a reset point for both men here. And again, they will kick off things before we get into NXT Deadline. So that being said, let's go around the panel and get everybody's thoughts on this kickoff. And Nathan Frazier, is he going to give us hard facts, or is Axiom going to slow down time and solve the equation and beat Nathan Frazier? That's the problem to figure out. Let's start with you, JJ. Let's kick things off with you because you are NXT. What's your thoughts on this singles exhibition, and who do you got winning?
Well, straight out the gate, I'm going to say that I feel Axiom is going to take this. He's already been seen lately on the main roster, with his match a few weeks back with Dragon Lee on SmackDown. Honestly, one of the best SmackDown matches I've seen on television in a very long time.
I agree.
I see Axiom getting the call up here sooner rather than later as a result of that. Possibly with the LWO/Legado del Fantasma potentially being a split now with Santos being on his own. We all know that Ray's going to be around later on in the night for the match between Dragon Lee and Dominic.
Yeah.
So it's always possible Axiom could get factored in that way as well. Have Ray scouting him, so to speak. But these poor guys, man, they just wanted to renew their rivalry, have a friendly match, and then the women of NXT decided that they were just going to be like, nope, you guys don't get to have a match. This is all about us.
Yeah, they took over.
I mean, I can't be too mad. It did lead to the return of Nikita Lyons.
I did see
as
that.
she kicked the head off of Blair Davenport.
Damn.
But so I can't be too mad. But yeah, that's the whole reason they're running this back. But Axiom's going to take it.
All right. Before I go around and get our people's thoughts, shout out to the 18 of you that put in your opinions so far, including that limited too. Mark Griffith, Charlene, members of Team NoDQ, including The Rocket, David Diaz, Medium Cass, and of course, other friends, Mark Anderson, Dwayne Atkinson, Kimberly, Mikey. Appreciate you all. It's pretty split here, Chris. A majority, though, are actually going with Nathan Frazier. It is 56-44. Where do you stand in this kickoff match?
My question is, who is the baby face and who is the heel, or is these two baby faces?
Kind of mutual at this point with these two, but I think Nathan Frazier has a bigger chip on his shoulder, for being perfectly honest.
Yeah, technically both men are babyface. Nathan Frazier's had a little bit of an edge. They had a really fun, friendly rivalry last year, and it's kind of just a rekindling of the rivalry.
Exactly.
Frazier may end up going full-blown heel during the match or post-match, but it's kind of just being set up as like, hey, I'm going nowhere right now. You're going nowhere right now. Let's go out there and have a banger of a match and remind these people who the hell we are.
That's how you make a name for yourself. So that being said, Chris, what's your prediction?
Well, this is going to be a fun, entertaining match to get the people hype about the show and be really invested. I know Axiom had that match with Dragon Lee on SmackDown. Unfortunately, I didn't even watch that match. I was out with friends that night. But as far as with this match does go, I do see Nathan Frazier turning heel soon. I just have that gut feeling it's going to happen. If it happens during the match, okay. If it happens post-match, then I think Axiom takes this. But I'm going to say I'm going with Nathan Frazier to win this match here.
All right, so we got split decision. I like this so far. The kickoff right now has split the crowd. So, Walter, again, you're getting used to this NXT just like I have over this last year, but you're more familiar probably with guys since you've seen him on SmackDown. Now, David Frazier, he hasn't really done anything as far as main level PLE yet, so this might be a breakout moment for him. So, where do you stand in this match?
It could be, but at the end of the day, like JJ said, this is a renewal of the rivalry. I believe Frazier's up. I think it's 2-1. I think Frazier's up on this. So I'm gonna pick Axiom for the same reason Chris says it. I think it leads to the downfall of Frazier going heel, but I don't think he full blown goes heel this Saturday. I think this starts it. Kind of like take your time, slow, do it like you did with Drew. I think that's the way to do it. So I think Frazier already has that chip on his shoulder. I just think it gets bigger, and maybe by Vengeance, or what's in January? Vengeance, right?
No, Vengeance Day is on February 4th.
Botch.
Batch. So by Vengeance, he should be full blown heel. But I think they take a few weeks to do it. So I think this starts it.
Hey.
So Axiom wins.
If NXT does what they did last year, then probably the first Tuesday in January will be the New Year's Bash special.
New Year's Eve.
Just like they did last year, yeah.
Yeah, and I could see that. Again, if this heel turn happens, then New Year's Evil, New Year's Revolution, Nathan Frazier's like, screw all of you. Here's the hard truth. I don't give a dang about all of you. I'm going to finally invest in myself. And I do think right now there has been more stock put into Axiom. Nathan Frazier needs to prove a point. So I kind of feel like he needs the win right here. So I'm actually going to make it 2-2. I'm actually picking Nathan Frazier. I think he does resort to dirty tactics and pushes himself to do what he needs to get the win. And who's to say he won't take advantage of Axiom's match? Just saying. Will the Power Ranger lose his helmet? So that being said, I'm going with Nathan Frazier. So it's 2-2. So good stuff so far. Let's go ahead now and get into this main card. I think it's only fitting we start off with one of the very matches that this show is about, as NXT Deadline surrounds the Iron Survivor Challenge. For those that never even heard what the yin yang this is, let me go ahead and explain it to you. And thank you for the graphic, JJ. In an Iron Survivor Challenge, this is a 25-minute time limit match where the clock runs up, with 5 superstars competing to become the #1 contender. 2 superstars will start the match at random. Then every 5 minutes thereafter, a new superstar will enter until all compares in the ring. So 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Falls can be won at any time via pinfall, submission, or disqualification. And when a fall is rendered, that superstar will score 1 point. Why the superstar that loses on the fall is forced out of the ring into a penalty box for 90 seconds before they can re-enter. And the superstar who scores the most fall when the clock hits the 25-minute mark and the deadline is met will be named the Iron Survivor and become the new #1 contender for, in this case, the NXT Women's Championship. And guess what, folks? You're going in here with a clean slate, because for the first time, all 5 of these women are involved in the Iron Survivor Challenge. Your field is as follows. The breakout tourney star, Kalani Jordan, who, of course, came back and beat Kiana James, thanks to assist by Roxanne Perez, which we'll talk about later. You have Lash Legend, who beat Roxanne Perez with assist by Kiana James. Opportunity for opportunity, eye for an eye. You know what I'm saying? You have in the dead middle, former NXT Women's Champion, Tiffany Stratton, who beat Fallon Henley on her own. You also have Blair Davenport, the top engine, that beat, JJ, Fiacchio to get into this match. And Fallon Henry found a way into this with a last chance fatal 4-way dance. None of these women have been involved in this match before. This is the second ever women's Iron Survivor Challenge in this NXT's history, or in NXT history in general, being perfectly honest. So, at the end of the day, what do you guys go off of? Do you go off the fact that you have a former NXT Women's Champion in this? Do you go off the fact that Blair Davenport has had multiple opportunities to try and pursue the championship, but has come up short? Do you go off the cusp and pick a wild card to pick this? And because the field of only 5, you guys only get one pick. And we know nothing about who starts and who ends it. And last year, JJ, in the first ever one, just to put in perspective, the first fall wasn't rendered until after 10 minutes. So, that being said, let's start with JJ again, because it's women's wrestling, damn it. JJ, you set the pace. You're on the bubble. What's your deadline? Who you got winning the Women's Iron Survivor Challenge?
This is really tough when you really think about it. Like,
exactly.
It's driving me nuts right now. I'm not even sure who I'm gonna pick.
Because I can give reasons why every single one of them should win.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Lash Legend, I cannot stand her. Me and you have sat here on commentary clowning her and Jakara Jackson, the TikTok rejects, part of the metaphor. But dude, the way she slammed Otis on Tuesday night,
damn it,
that has got to be one of the most watched clips of the week.
Accurate.
For real. Like, I'm not trying to blow smoke, but that has to be up there with like Punk's return at Survivor Series for how many times people have watched it. I know people that have watched it like 10, 15 times in a row and are still impressed by it.
Well, it is a feat of strength to lift up Big Otis. Stakes and weights apparently was not enough to keep Lash Legend off of his case. So, hey, power to the women.
I mean, and then you've got Noam Dar with the Heritage Cup still, adding some legitimate gold to the metaphor. Doesn't seem like it's too far-fetched anymore, you know, after that performance.
Fair.
You've got Blair Davenport, who's probably the most experienced out of all of them. But for whatever reason, she seems to be like that seasoned vet that's there to put talent over.
Yes.
Like, she seems to be the easiest one to eliminate. But then you also look at the fact that our champion is a babyface champion. So what better way to test Lyra Valkyria than Blair Davenport? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Tiffany Stratton blew everybody away this year. I think everybody had written her off. Everybody dismissed her. This little blonde Barbie doll. It's Tiffy time. Toodles. But I'll be damned if she didn't put on some of the best women's matches in my NXT this year.
I respect
she came out there. She came out there and realized that she had to put up or shut up. And she delivered 9 times out of 10. Kehlani Jordan, I love Kehlani. I see a bright future ahead of her. I don't know if giving her this victory and a title shot so soon is the right thing to do, though. You know, runner-up in the breakout tournament, came that close, and she's in this. Yep. I think it'll be a great proving ground for her, but I don't see her getting the victory. I'm going to go with the one that I saved for last, the one who won the last chance. Because I think Fallon, even more than Kehlani, has nothing to lose and everything to gain with this. So many people have counted Briggs, Jensen, and Fallon out of everything in NXT. Correct. They are constantly getting overlooked. And Lyra herself said that she would welcome the challenge of Fallon. I think that's going to be it. And I'm still out in my judgment for the men's, but I could almost see both members winning their respective matches. And Briggs getting the men's, Fallon getting the women's, and then where does that leave Jensen going forward? You know, the only one who didn't get in. Like, I could see some poetic storytelling here. Still haven't decided if I'm going to pick him for the men, so I'll give my definite answer when we get there. But I'm going for Fallon in this one. She may be a long shot. She may be the dark horse.
Hey, Seabiscuit got it done, and so did a zebra and racing stripes. I'm just saying. All right, well, all right, JJ, let's go ahead and see what everybody's saying right now who's submitted. And hello, Arlene. Good to see you. Always appreciate you.
Yes.
Chris, majority are actually going with Blair Davenport, 50%. The second runner-up is actually Tiffany Stratton. There's one vote in there for Last Legend, one vote in there for Fallon Henry, no votes for Kalani Jordan. And to back up what JJ just said, let's keep in mind, Last Legend and Kalani Jordan both got in here thanks to assistance by the Bad Blood with the two women we're going to talk about here pretty soon that are going to settle it inside a steel cage. So, Chris, where do you stand?
Well, this is going to be interesting with the field that is
That's true as well.
that is in this, and I'm like going like back and forth on who exactly needs this win the most. I'm gonna say I'm ruling Last Legend out. Last Legend, yeah, she proved to me on Tuesday that she could pick up a big man in Otis. But personally, I have seen better power slams in my life. That is not the best. The best one, the best one was Hulk Hogan power slamming Andre the Giant at WrestleMania 3. That was best, well, but the best now is when Claudio Castagnoli threw Paul White out of the ring at WrestleMania 30 by winning the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. That was my favorite one of all time.
All right. The bet to this match.
About this match, Last Legend is not winning this. Kiana Jordan, she's not winning this at all. So I'm down to 3. Yeah, Tiffany Stratton, she's a former NXT Women's Champion. She has never she been to the dance and she got it done. She took on Lyra Valkyria at NXT Battlegrounds to crown the brand new NXT Women's Champion. And they decided Tiffany Stratton won that night. And now look at Lyra Valkyria as the champion. Are we going to have Tiffany Stratton be the challenger?
I was saying, who's Kiana Jordan? Chris. Botch. Continue.
I just botched on that. Sorry about that. It's Tiffany.
That's true for those that are keeping track, by the way, how far the botch counter goes. Continue, Chris.
It's Tiffany going to be the challenger in that match. I kind of seen it. Blair Davenport, she's the heel in all of this. And usually with these Iron Survivor challenges, you have a babyface winning one of them and a heel winning the other one. Last year we had Roxanne Perez, the babyface, winning, and with the men, Grayson Waller, he was the heel.
Fair.
So, do I see another babyface winning this one? I'm actually leaning towards Fallon and Blair Davenport at the moment. But to get back on track with this and make the show go forward, I'm actually going to agree with JJ. I'm going to say Fallon Henley deserves this opportunity. She won the last chance, and she has the momentum she needs right now.
All right. Again, Fallon Henry's kind of been in the shadows. When you figure about more often than not, when it comes to her group, it's been more centered around Josh Briggs and Brooke Jensen, former NXT Tag Team Champions, also, for being perfectly honest. And we all remember the whole love story about what happens when a business woman from the city meets a country boy. So, but yeah, I kind of agree. I kind of understand where you're both coming from. Fallon coming to me as the wild card. I think it would be a very unique exhibition. Let's not rule out the fact that there is a babyface champion, but babyface exhibitions can happen once in the blue moon. And in this NXT, there's more possibility than that than Raw and SmackDown, being perfectly honest. And as far as Blair Davenport, she comes in here with more experience than all these women combined. Former Stardom Tag Team Champion, heavily accoladed from World of Stardom promotion. And she's kind of just been, in the shuffle of feuds, falling out against freaking Roxanne Perez. I've lost more times than I can count. I think that she, though, again, the whole thing about you just don't know when somebody's coming out. You don't know who's last. You don't know who's first. And you don't know who's going to take advantage when it matters the most of the clock running up. But I think for me, just looking at the fact that it's WWE at the end of the day, and WWE 9 out of 10 does heel versus face. I think Blair's finally going to get a chance at the title, and I think Blair and Lyra, NXT UK represent, will be a very dynamic match before World of Ours could possibly cash in. And yes, I'm aware Nikita Lyons is back, Sean, and right now Nikita Lyons, he's the target Blair. For those that remember, Blair Davenport injured her before she came back. And honestly, now that I think about Nikita Lyons, might come in here and try and cost Blair. And I think thinking about right now that Blair has a direction possibly with Nikita Lyons, I'm actually going with you two. I'm actually going to go with the dark horse here, and I don't gamble. I'm going with Fallon Henry as well. I think she's going to surprise us. That leaves you, Mr. Reliable, to either go unanimous or try and go off in a different direction. The odds are 10 to 1. What are you going with? You've heard about his spots. You know about the field. You kind of can see where some people stand, where some people could be going. And when you look at the balance of heels versus faces here, it's 3 faces and 2 heels. I guess you call Timothy Strand a tweener, but I digress.
Mm-hmm.
Walter, what's your pick?
Yeah, this is hard. I think Jordan breakout year is coming, so I don't think you give it to her right here. I think she'll have a lead at some point where it almost looks like she's gonna win, and then someone takes it. I was gonna go with Davenport until Lions showed up Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they have that direct. Yeah, exactly. So I think they have her direction coming up. So I think we're gonna be unanimous in this. I'm gonna have to go with Fallon. It just makes the most sense.
One of those oh my gosh moments. Need one of those big moments here.
I think Lash Legend's gonna have a good showing, and she's gonna do some power moves and things. I don't see it happening for her yet. So I'll go with Fallon.
Wow, I'm really surprised here. Everybody went with the same thing.
I think with the right booking, they can turn Lash Legend into like the new Raquel Rodriguez / Bianca Belair with her strength and power and everything.
Possibly. You do have a point. And Tiffany a while back said she wasn't ready. Arguably, with the fact she's already ran with the title and kind of done everything, I think she might be ready. It's just a matter of how you put her in to the main roster. And at this point, she really isn't feuding with nobody. But with the depth of this women's division, who knows what Survivor they could set her up with. It's almost like now she led as champion. She could lead the future as a potential opponent. And I think that's what Blair's story's been. Now Nakia versus Blair, that's happening. Last Legend, breakout strength moment. Kalani Jordan, just starting. Fallon Henry, dark horse for longest time in your NXT. I feel it kind of writes itself looking back at this graphic now. So I think Fallon Henry is the smart pick for the most unique circumstance. And Josh, we have one last thing real quick about the women's champion, of course, Lyra Valkyria. No matter who wins, the only one allowed to beat Lyra Valkyria for the title is Nikita Lyons, period, end of story. That's a stretch, considering Lola Vice has a contract. And Sean, to Walter's point, believes that Kalani Jordan will be champion 2024. Mark his words. 8:31 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, December 7, 2023. And
yeah, I disagree with Josh, but that's something completely different. We don't need to go down that road right now.
That's fair. Again, we haven't finished out the year yet, so we'll see what happens. But for now, everyone's with Alana and Henry. So, found Henry, good luck. All right, let's go ahead and move away from the Iron Survivor challenges now into some other matches here. We'll start with this grudge match where at the end of the day, in AEW, there's the story about the devil we don't know, right? Well, do we know Melo? I'm just wondering. As Carmelo Hayes looks to clear his name and bounce back against Lexus King, who apparently has been in cahoots with some footage, and maybe the fix is in. Maybe it was Lexus King that attacked Trick Williams. We don't know. But the biggest thing right now is Lexus King cost Carmelo Hayes a chance to get back in this. And Carmelo is out, Trick is in. And there was a subtle comment I heard during their engagement. And Walter, you'll start this off. Think about this. Trick Williams says, "You open, I end." I just want you to think about that here. So, bottom line, Walter, Melo usually doesn't miss. So, will he be balling or will this King humble him? What's your thoughts on this singles exhibition?
Melo usually doesn't miss, but all the greats miss every now and then. Jordan, LeBron, every now and then they're going to miss, and I think he's missing this one. I think this is a showcase for King. I think King takes this one. I honestly think Carmelo Hayes is main roster bound, and he's just tying up whatever knots he's got. It's going to end the rivalry with – he might go heel and end with Trick Williams, and then he's on his way to the main roster because I think it's time for him to move on up. So I'm going to go with King here.
All right. Josh says Lexus King need to push him to show that they did time watch and they'll be well. Again, that's debatable. At the end of the day, booking no matter where you go is always subjective. Have an open mind, brother. All right.
Don't use AEW as any excuse. You just book him because he's there now, and you push who you're gonna push. But forget about AEW's mistakes. Forget about Just I just think he's newer. He hasn't had that many showings yet. He just pops up and we saw how long his promos were teased, and then he finally showed up. He hasn't had that many matches, so it's time for him.
All right. Chris, right now, majority are actually going with Lexus King, and Lexus King, so far to my knowledge, has had, I think, one other match, and that was at Halloween Havoc that me and JJ called. And he set his sights against the former NXT champion, and hey, everyone's talking about him. He is making a name for himself, a king on the rise. So that King's rule carry out, that kingdom on the rise. Where do you stand, Chris, on this?
Well, where I stand on this Lexus King Carmelo Hayes match is going to be fun. I know what I saw and heard, what Trick and Melo were talking about opening and closing. I do believe this could open the show, but I think one of the Iron Survivor challenges is opening up the show on Saturday. Yeah, just to get the show started. And then the second match could be the Lexus King Carmelo Hayes match. That is where I see fit right now. So it will go the Iron Survivor Challenge, then Carmelo Hayes and Lexus King. So possibly the women is going to kick it off. So
booking order aside, just focus on these two going one-on-one and who you think picks up the decisions.
Well, who picks up this win is I'm going with Lexus King. This is my first time ever going against Carmelo Hayes at a premium live event and in a predictions league ever. I do have Lexus King winning because of I do believe it was Carmelo Hayes that attacked Trick in that backstage thing that we didn't even see. But NXT Anonymous saw everything. And I do believe it's going to come out that I think Carmelo did it. And that is when I think Carmelo is going heel. And I think we are going to get to see Trick versus Melo at NXT Stand and Deliver. I don't see it being at New Year's Evil. I don't see it being at Vengeance Day. I see it being at Stand and Deliver, and that is going to be Carmelo Hayes' final NXT match, and he's going to the main roster after WrestleMania. And personally, I think Carmelo Hayes would be a good fit in the men's Royal Rumble match if they're going to do surprise entrances for the NXT brand. Carmelo Hayes is one of them that could be in the Rumble after he gets done with the Rumble, get back on track with the NXT stuff, and then he's main roster bound after WrestleMania weekend.
I almost wonder, JJ, is NXT Anonymous related to Vacant? And aren't you usually the guy that books out long-term storytelling for your brand? But a very fair analysis, Chris. And again, you think about this might set the pace for the mindset of Hayes, knowing that his boy, Trick Williams, Trick Mello game, is it still a thing? Or is Trick right now shining brighter than him and him can't stand it? So, JJ, again, Lexus King, it's a big chance for him. I don't consider Halloween Havoc a PLE. Okay, that's an NXT special. We called it. Okay, so this is Lexus King's big breakout match. Now, we also have it with Gable Steveson. We don't talk about that. Like, we don't talk about Bruno. So, that being said, JJ, what's your thoughts on this? Does Lexus King, like, need the win here, and does he get it clean against Carmelo Hayes? Or do we get maybe a DQ and just further the tension here, suspension of disbelief? Because at the end of the day, what's more important here? Lexus King getting a win at the expense of Hayes, or Hayes trying to clear his name at the expense of Lexus King losing? Where do you stand with this?
I have a feeling this is going to be another unanimous pick because I feel like Lexus King is going to take this one. You don't job him out this early. You know, kind of to Josh's point, you put him over, show people coming in that may want to make the jump that this is how we're going to take care of you. We know how to book storylines. We know how to book and make people look good over here. You know, I didn't see Pillman Jr. that much in AEW, but from what I know, he wasn't on a whole lot in AEW. So
He was
that
basically
maybe why I
getting
didn't see
bashed.
him. So
Yeah, he was
know,
basically getting bashed.
and here he is, you know, he's already a star and he's only been in the company a couple of months. You know, I mean, I'm sitting here thinking, holy shit, could you imagine a modern day legacy with Breaker, Mysterio, and Pillman Jr.?
Holy hell.
Whether it's Orton or Cody leading it, I'm just saying, like that could be like huge. Take my money.
I was just gonna say, take my money. I'm for that one.
I'll double down with you on that. That actually sounds like a very engaging idea.
But like,
Damn.
and the one part that y'all are saying that I don't agree with is I still don't think Melo's the one that did it.
I don't think so either. Josh, again, I appreciate your opinion, but it just seems too obvious to be him. This isn't Johnny Gargano attacking Aleister Black. By NXT.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway.
Exactly. That sounds too obvious. Like, I would almost put money that Trick had Lexus attack him to set Melo up more than I would believe that Melo did it, because Trick was always the guy in the background. He was always the hype man. He was always the sidekick. And just before this attack happened, and ever since this attack happened, you know, not to steal a phrase from Jey Uso, but Trick Williams has been main event Trick. Hence the come Saturday, you're opening the show and I'm closing the show.
I just saw the look on Hayes when he said that. I'm like, oh, man.
Like, Trick is on another level at this point. So I think it took this attack to kind of get him elevated to that next level. And Trick's been around Melo enough. He's learned shit.
He also asked Cena when did you knew it was your time?
Your time.
JJ's onto something because the only one benefiting from this attack is Trick himself.
Exactly, because Trick's in the Iron Survivor Challenge, and he's strictly focused on that. We saw their last backstage engagement when Hayes was trying to come up with the plan to go after Lexus King, and Trick's like, I understand where you're coming from, man, but I gotta focus. I'm in this thing. You may not be, but I'm in this thing. So again, the mentality is on a whole different level right now for Trick Williams, and I think Hayes right now, he might be on the verge of breaking. And a loss to Lexus King, which, by the way, you probably gonna be unanimous. Ding, you're correct. I'm going with Lexus King as well. A loss against Lexus King, I think, will push Hayes over the edge. Now, whether or not he whoops that trick or, waits on that, that's a whole different conversation for another day. But yeah,
I
think
definitely
Lexus King
think either Vengeance Day or Stand and Deliver. It's going to be Mello versus Trick, and then Mello will be main roster bound.
Yes, Walter.
I just want to say, WWE, all I ask is don't Rikishi this. Don't
Oh,
Rikishi Stone Cold this. Don't make it so effed up that we're just like, ugh. Like, maybe make it a new star we don't expect if it isn't Carmelo or one of these, because I don't think it's Carmelo either, but I didn't think of it as he set himself up to be attacked. So that was a good idea, JJ.
And a double standard. I did it for Ava Rain. Anyway, we'll see what happens. But speaking of Ava Rain, I find it interesting that she's trying to take on a managerial role, or should I say general manager role, for the women of NXT. And she got this match book, and if you're going to settle a score, you might as well sell it while you're locked inside with somebody, or, locked inside a rivalry. You might know what I mean here in a moment, as it is the Prodigy Roxanne Perez versus All Business Kiana James. And I want to wait a second, JJ. There's more to this graphic than meet the eye, isn't there?
Yes, sir. This will be contested inside of a steel cage.
Oh, Lord. Here we go again. These women are about to go metal on each other, as if they didn't do that at Halloween Havoc. All right, let's go ahead and slowly talk about this, shall we? Because how far does the bad blood go back with these two? We're talking NXT Deadline, right? Guess what? Last year, these two were involved in Deadline last year. Kiana scored nothing while Roxanne won it. They've been at each other's throats since. We saw how far this bubbled over back at Halloween Havoc, where Roxanne Perez had a play date with her in the doubles playground and won. And since then, these two have cost each other everything. Unless these two could somehow find a way to get past one another, they are both stuck, in my opinion. It's a crossroads at this point. One needs to beat the other to leave them in the past for good. Chris, you have not led a match yet, so you're going to lead this one off. Where do you stand in this steel cage match? I always say the Prodigy rises to the promise, but at the end of the day, I think Kiana needs to do what's best for her business, and that's get a win against Roxanne, who's already done everything in this NXT. So where do you stand in this steel cage match? Who wins?
No, you just took the words right out of my mouth. How did you do that? Well, I was going back and forth, like after Tuesday, seeing that with Ava announcing, okay, this is still cage. Then what triggered me was the QR code. And my stupid phone didn't even work on the QR code for some strange reason. I was so happy about the QR code. I just have a gut feeling, yeah, this could possibly be the Prodigy's final hurrah in NXT. She has done it all in NXT. She won the NXT Women's Tag Team Champions. She won the NXT Women's Champion. She has done it all. It's time. And I picked up on something when they were doing like promo packages with Roxanne Perez, what year one brought. Now, year two, it had Raw, SmackDown, WrestleMania. And I have a gut feeling Roxanne is going to be on her way to the main roster. I have a gut feeling it's going to happen. After this match, she'll be main roster ready. As far as this match goes, I have Kiana James winning. Here's why I think Kiana James wins. Roxanne's got something to worry about. She has to worry about my girl. My girl is
Contagious?
coming back. No, I'm not contagious. It's my girl coming back to NXT on Saturday. And I don't know, she does that. Cora Jade shows up Saturday night. It costs Roxanne Perez this match.
Okay. Bold fought. But I also know Kiana James might have a business investment with somebody, according to what I saw backstage, JJ, because she's obviously talking with others. And I do think there might be that little bit of envy with a lot of the locker room when it comes to Roxanne Perez gets all the moments, did all this, It's one of those things where if you're not in that spot, what do you do to get there? You take it. And if you see somebody else trying to go for it, maybe you tag alongside them to get there. Maybe Kiana James needs to invest in somebody to help her get to where Roxanne has been. But also, Roxanne has won every feud up to this point, for being perfectly honest. Hello, Bear Davenport. And not to try and sway you, JJ, but it's 3-1 right now in favor of Roxanne Perez winning. But JJ, where do you stand?
He basically took the words out of my mouth. So
Ah!
he sits there complaining about you taking the words out of his mouth. He said everything I was going to discuss. I completely feel like Cora's coming back. She's been gone long enough. The QR code had Cora Jade saying, "See you at deadline." So, yeah, I see Cora helping Kiana because she's not going to help Roxanne. I feel like there's still bad blood there between the two of them. They still have to have their final match.
Mm-hmm.
Put me down for Kiana James.
All right. So business picks up for Kiana James, and we continue where we left off, apparently, with the former tag champs. And to think, their last encounter was what? Halloween Havoc, Weapons Wild, I believe. And also to add further attention, Walter, Cora Jade and Roxanne Perez were involved in last year's NXT Deadline Iron Forever Challenge. And who got the last fall on who? It was Roxanne on Cora Jade. So, Walter, do you agree with the rest?
I love me some Perez, and I want her to win so bad. But I just think it's set up for James. I think James is winning because I think Roxanne Perez is Royal Rumble bound. I think she's going to be one of the surprise Royal Rumble entrants in the female Royal Rumble. So I just think, like Chris said, she's main roster bound. She's done it all. What else can she do? So I think this is a showcase for James to win.
Well, considering the notch on her forehead and the Halloween Havoc mag, I think she deserves some sort of moment that dumb.
Right?
Yeah.
And Roxy was in the Rumble this year too, so I don't know if it would be that surprising for her to be in 2 years in a row.
It would be like obvious because she was a surprise this year. Is not going to be a surprise in this year's Royal Rumble in 2024. So when people see Roxanne Perez, they're already going to know, oh, she was in it last year. This is her second time being in the Women's Royal Rumble match.
I guess it just really comes down to one thing here. I think that really sells it. Because Steel Cage, escape through the door, escape over the top. Cora Jade shows up, Kiana wins. I think it's as simple as that. If she doesn't, I think Roxanne, once again, gets another moment. She is the John Cena proverbial babyface of your NXT, JJ, for being perfectly honest here. So I think it comes down to the X Factor.
I think the tension and suspense is going to boil to the point where everyone thinks Roxy's about to get it.
Mm-hmm.
And then Cora comes and costs her.
And again, believe it or not, folks, we're unanimous because I picked Kiana too, and that's the exact reason why. Because again, Kiana's been in this NXT just part of the mix, like Fallon Henry. Let's see Kiana get a moment and see what she does with it. I'm going with business.
Did you said Hembry or Hensley?
It's Henley, dude. Henley. Fallon Henley. All right? Get the name right. Okay? Words matter, folks, by the way, here. Even if WWE doesn't know sometimes how to give us a good name or a good gimmick, but I digress. But speaking of names,
Tony Schiavone called AEW WCW last night on Dynamite, so we all can make a flub every now and again.
Look, at the end of the day, if you aren't allowed to flub, then why do you exist in America where freedom of speech is a thing? Whether you talk clean or whether you talk dirty. Speaking of dirty, let's talk about this. As Dirty Dominic Mysterio defends the NXT North American Championship, not against Wesley, but Dragon Lee. Before we get into that, just going to say this real quick. For those that are wondering why the match is what it is, Wesley sustained an unfortunate injury that is going to leave him out to up to a year, possibly. Why he was able to outdo Dominic's challenge and outlast 3 former NXT North American champions. You can't stop his heart, but his body is actually vulnerable. He is unable to compete. We wish Wesley the absolute best and hope he makes a speedy recovery, a cardiac kick back once again and reclaim this title, because I guarantee if he was here, I would have picked him. Wesley, please take care. Thank you. All right. So again, Dirty Dominic Mysterio, who of course took the title from Trick Williams earlier this year and has been at odds end lately, holding this thing hostage with the help of Mommy. Now defends it against Dragon Lee. Dragon Lee, of course, coming off a loss against Santos Escobar at Survivor Series and basically is wrestling on behalf of Rey Mysterio, who basically said, you're going to wrestle, but you're going to defend the title against this man. At this point, Rey Mysterio has endorsed Dragon Lee as his new son. So it comes down to this. Do we finally see Dirty Dom lose this championship? Or again, is this just an odd audible considering Dragon Lee's on SmackDown? But then again, Dom Mysterio is on Raw. But blank spit LOL. Walter, what's your thoughts on this match? Do you have a new NXT North American champion despite the audible circumstance? Or does Dirty Dom find a way to lie, cheat, and steal and hold on to it again?
The irony and uniqueness that 2 main roster people are fighting for an NXT title.
Right?
That blows my mind.
Let's not let that fall through the cracks. Brand spit LOL. Continue.
Best. I wish the best for Wesley. If he was in this, I was going to pick him, but because it's a last minute change, I think Dom retains. They're just not going to give Dragon Lee a title this fast. I think it's Dirty Dom by default, because I think Wesley was scheduled to beat Dom, but they're going to call it audible and have him keep the title because it's part of him now with the Judgment Day having all the money in the bank and all the other titles with them and Mommy. They're not going to disrupt that right now. They would have for Wesley, but not for Dragon Lee. They're on 2 separate brands, and then he can't even get his revenge. So I say Dirty Dom retains here.
Long-term storytelling. Story to be continued longer than a Pokemon series, daggone it. And ironically enough, JJ, it is literally split down the middle, half and half in the poll of 18. But again, you're a man long-term storytelling, and if I have to guess, I think Walter took the words right out of your mouth. So unless you really shock me here, are you actually betting against Dirty Dom in this case?
No.
I didn't think so.
No, just like you guys said, and Chris is probably going to say too. I think every single one of us was going to pick Wesley to get that belt back. But with him being out, there's no point in Dom losing it to somebody else who's on the main roster. It made sense for him to lose it to somebody who was still on the NXT brand. Dragon Lee's on SmackDown. All that it would do would be to further it wouldn't even further the LWO Legado del Fantasma storyline because Dominic's in neither faction. He's in Judgment Day. I do feel though, like Arlene said, I feel like Santos Escobar may help Dom out here. I mean, we all know Mommy's probably going to be there. The TV image has Mommy in Dom's corner and Rey Mysterio in Dragon Lee's corner.
That's right.
With Rey Mysterio being in Dragon Lee's corner and with Santos and what he's done, kind of goes back to what I was talking about with Axiom earlier. I feel Santos Escobar is going to cost the match here for Dragon Lee, furthering that storyline on the main brand, allowing Dom to keep his title. And I also feel like it can give that opportunity for Santos to talk to Los Lotharios about being the new Legado del Fantasma.
Mm-hmm.
Because he'll be down there in NXT to kind of do some conversing, some business, if you will.
The business will pick up. And Los Lotharios, of course, recently lost against the family for the NXT Tag Team Championship. So that might have been their swan song of this NXT. So why one story might be on suspension, again, once we get well soon, another story might be on the rise. So, yeah, I'm not going against any of y'all here. But with Wesley, I was in it 100% with Cardiac Kid. But Audible, good match. Going to be a fun match. But the story just was bleh. It's going to be Dirty Dom winning, even by disqualification. He still holds the title, Dirty Dom.
Exactly. And at this point, I almost want to see Dom hold it until Stand and Deliver and use the Mania weekend to put whoever he's going to put over. You know, this was the end of the year. This was the deadline. It made sense here. New Year's Evil, Vengeance Day, neither one of those really makes sense. Stand and Deliver, that's going to be a moment.
The biggest moment, if we're being honest. I think Stand Deliver is honestly the biggest stage for your NXT because of the weekend it's presented.
And can you imagine if Dom is booked on both Stand and Deliver and WrestleMania?
Superstar of the decade.
Dominic is already in the running to be MVP of the year for WWE. He's had like 95, 96 matches this year.
No, actually, he actually reached 100 matches in WWE, both Dominic Mysterio and the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes.
Wow.
Okay, last tally I saw, he was only at 96, and that was a week ago. So
house shells.
Maybe.
Still, either way, the result remains the same. We all believe that Dom still leaves NXT North American champion because of the.
I didn't get my pick yet.
Kristen, you really got a different thought here. Come on, bruv.
No, I'm going with Dominic Mysterio to retain, but I do believe that he is keeping that championship all the way till Stand and Deliver, and I just have a gut feeling possibly at Stand and Deliver, they're going to possibly do an NXT North American Championship ladder match. I just have a gut feeling on that.
Seems like a consistent thing almost, either multi-person or ladder. I mean, he's not wrong for being perfectly honest, but we'll see. Either way, hopefully Wesley gets to Stand and Deliver and finally finish the story, Cody, that I thought was going to finish on Saturday night, but I digress. And as far as Sean's point goes, do people even care about the red and blue tag straps? Let's be honest here right now. They're just an accessory. I'm waiting to see a tag team actually step up and be believable to take it off them and not put it back on them. Talk to me when we get actual straps that actually look non-ridiculous, but I digress. And no, that's what Dominic should do. He should put his hair on the line. Wesley wants the shot so bad, had a chance, but his body broke down on him. Do a WrestleMania 20. There.
No, I mean us, none of us, like the panel people.
Look, you all are bloody fools that will bet your hair. Simple Man don't gamble. All right. And I also know this: Simple Man does not have a short fuse when it comes to the intensity and the fire that Ilya Dragunov consumes and is looking to unleash against Baron Corbin, who's looking to burn the shits down. And the thing, Baron Corbin thought he was in the driver's seat. Not. And because of the bigger story, that's why I'm going to talk about this next. It's the NXT Championship. Ilya Dragunov defends the gold against Baron Corbin. Now, I will say this. Baron Corbin brought up a very strong point. He has been a consistent on-screen figure. Happy, constable, lone wolf, indifferent, miserable. Back in NXT, he always has had a presence. He's made a presence for himself. And at the end of the day, he's getting something that he believes is his. While he tried to use the ploy that Ilya Dragunov, you're doing this because it's another championship match for you, but I'm going to do this for you so you just get back to your family. Baron trying to make it personal. Ilya Dragunov just hugged him with a smile. This is going to be a hell of a fight, but Ilya Dragunov, the Tsar's reign, I think, will continue. I'm not going to say that this probably is the most obvious match to call besides the Audible, but it kind of feels like that because at the end of the day, what does Baron Corbin have to gain winning the NXT Championship? Former United States Champion. I know he never was WWE Champion, had a chance, cashed in on Jinder Mahal. John Cena screwed him in 2017. Worst year of my life, but I digress. But anyway, Baron Corbin right now, he's just proven right he can reset himself back to ground zero and still find, a place for himself. I don't think he needs this championship, being perfectly honest. If nothing else, Baron Corbin just breathed new life into himself as a character, resetting himself to not even lone wolf, just I'm Baron Corbin. Deal with it. I think Ilya Dragunov retains here, honestly. And as far as who challenges the next, well, that's why we got the match that I'm going to talk about next. But I'm going with Ilya Dragunov retaining, and a majority agrees as well, 89%. JJ, what's your thoughts on this whole Baron Corbin Ilya Dragunov dynamic, where Baron Corbin says, I already should have been face, I already should have been champion. Of course, we saw the sneak attack he did with him after the match with Camille, his Halloween Havoc, and forced himself, honestly, into the more contendership. And again, he tried to prey on Ilya Dragunov's emotions. Doesn't seem like it worked. But what's your thoughts on this match?
Let me ask you a question, sir, as somebody who's been watching longer than I have.
Okay.
Did Dolph Ziggler need the NXT Championship? Did Becky Lynch need the NXT Women's Championship?
No.
Okay. So, not trying to be a dick, but that argument is kind of an invalid one, in my opinion.
That's fair. I'll give you that. That's fair.
I'm still going for Ilya for the record.
Okay.
I'm picking Ilya myself, but I just wanted to make that point because neither one of them needed those NXT championships when they got them. They were given them because Dolph's been the MVP of the fucking WWE for like the last 15 years.
Give or take.
And deserved another world title run, even if the main roster doesn't acknowledge it as such. Right, Charlotte?
Bullshit. Anyway, continue.
Becky Lynch only got it because she needed it to become Grand Slam. It's like they didn't really need those. They were more about making moments and putting people over.
But
Dolph was able to get Braun more over by losing the belt to him the Raw after Mania on Raw.
Right.
Becky was able to get Lyra more over by putting her over for the NXT Women's Championship. You give Corbin the belt, theoretically speaking, and whoever wins Iron Survivor gets over more by defeating Corbin. Or Ilya in a rematch gets over more by beating Corbin. And Ilya's had this intensity to him, but he hasn't made a full-on heel turn yet.
He's never been heel in his career.
But the intensity and fire he's been showing lately definitely has some heel tendencies to it. All I'm saying is, if Corbin were to win, and again, for the record, folks, I'm picking Ilya, but if Corbin were to win, it could be about getting the next title holder more over by defeating somebody who defeated Kurt Angle in his final wrestling match, by defeating somebody who won King of the Ring, by defeating somebody who was Money in the Bank, former United States champion. I'm just saying, think about the positives of if Corbin were to be champion.
It'd be also be his first world championship because unlike Becky Lynch and Dolph Ziggler, Corbin's never had a world championship. So, but also Ilya Dragunov just started his run at No Mercy, going after this Destiny for the better part of a year and a half. So, I mean, balancing act. But I understand where you're coming from, too. I just think that Dolph Ziggler and Becky Lynch had a bigger impact because of their previous accolades and star power than Baron Corbin would if he was NXT champion, considering he didn't have any sort of world championships in his entire main roster run. So that's just my take. All right. Chris, what's your thoughts on this NXT World Championship match? Again, as Daniel alluded to, he's also going with Ilya Dragunov because he believes that Ilya will be the one to face the winner of this year's Iron Survivor Challenge. So Ilya versus blank versus Baron Corbin versus blank. Which one is the bigger name or bigger sell on the marquee? Which one is the bigger pushing point for the town and for the title also in NXT? I guess that's really what we're asking here at the end of the day, besides the fact that Ilya holds on to the title. Chris, what's your thoughts on this match?
My thoughts is I'm keeping this short and sweet. I have Ilya Dragunov winning. I feel this is going to be Baron Corbin's best match of the year this year and his whole entire career in WWE. Hopefully Baron Corbin gets to the main roster again. But if they're taking time with it, that I totally understand. But Ilya Dragunov is winning, and I kind of see Ilya Dragunov losing the NXT championship, say around NXT Vengeance Day.
Okay. Well, I mean, hey, they call it audible with Mandy Rose, so who knows? We'll see. All right. Walter, do you want to add anything else further to this? Or again, you with the entire thing here and agree with Ilya, or do you have anything further to say regarding Baron Corbin?
This portion of what I'm gonna say, I'm probably on an island myself. I kind of want to see Corbin win because I just want to see what happens when he wins. And I know he'll be such a dick as the champion. Like, it's such a bastardly heel that I kind of want it. Plus, to reward him for all his hard work. Like, he's the shit they put him through as a company, and he's been a company man that just says yes to anything. That bum ass Corbin was like the best thing ever, and then they ruined it when he got his money back. They screwed them all up. So I kind of want to see them say thanks for all the always being a team player, and here's a reward, and they give you the title. But I think Dragunov is going to win. With all that said, Dragunov retains because I just, like you said, I want to see Baron win, and I want to see what they do it. But then it's like once Baron wins, now what? From a booking standpoint, it's like he's just going to become more of an asshole, be himself. And I'll personally love it, but I just don't see what further he'll do. Like, when do you do? Then have him lose it and then go back to the main roster? I think he's just one of those good people that will always chase it and always be right there with the title, with the title right there, but just can never grab the brass ring. So I think that's just forever going to be what Corbin is. And it sucks to say that because I really would love to see him win here, but I think this is just all set up for Dragunov.
Yes, JJ.
I'm telling you right now, if Corbin were to become champion, he would be right up there with Christian Cage, Father of the Year TNT champion. As far as attitude and persona, he would be right there for real.
Oh my gosh.
And I would love it. I would be here for it, man. I kind of hope I'm wrong. I hope they do it, like, just to see. I just want to see, like, but I don't think they will.
You're not. Even though you're tempted, you're torn. You're not gonna try and pull the Hail Mary. You're gonna stick with Ilya.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with Ilya.
All right. I was wondering if he was gonna go bold, like the Dallas Cowboys winning the Super Bowl. But anyway, sorry. Anyway, yeah, it's just weird right now, the setup where it's almost, again, the chase for Ilya for the title. We're already seeing now as being the hunted. I don't think necessarily it's lost that momentum. Again, it's been very, predominant. Carmelo Hayes, now Baron Corbin within 2 months. Some other people can learn something from that. I'm not going to say any names. But I I just think right now that Elo's just got a lot more to offer while he is champion for NXT. And the fact that he and Lyra are the champions, two of the most predominant faces of NXT UK. I love the set right now that NXT is going. And I'm curious to see how far it goes and how they will stand and deliver with both of them at the forefront. Because I'm calling it right now. I don't think neither loses their title before stand and deliver. I really don't. Okay, well, let's go ahead and continue forward. And again, I hope everybody's enjoying the conversation. Get your opinions in, get your predictions in. If you want to dictate the conversation towards something else, Super Chat has the steel. Super Chat is simple as that. And please like, subscribe, comment, tell a friend. But without further ado, as Chris wanted to lead into, but of course I'll give the breakdown. It is time for what I think will be the main event of the evening. Because at the end of the day, this dictates not only possibly the Camille Hayes storyline, but who, of course, will face off for the NXT Championship. And it's another new Field of Five that has not been in this match before as we go into the men's Iron Survivor Challenge at NXT Deadline. And again, for those that don't know, because I know YouTube, people can channel surfing like that, allow me to introduce you to what an Iron Survivor Challenge is once again. It is a match where the clock counts up to 25 minutes, where 5 superstars compete to become the one contender. 2 superstars start, while every 5 minutes at 5, 10, and 15, a new superstar enters the ring. Falls are won via pinfall, submission, or disqualification. And if you lose a fall, you're forced to a penalty box for 90 seconds. Whoever has the highest score when the clock hits 25 and we meet the deadline will become the new number one contender for the NXT Championship. And here is your field. Bronathan Breakker, former, and might I add, longest reigning NXT champion. Your NXT, JJ. Whoop that trick. It's that guy that shines like a diamond as of late and is really coming to his own, but it's his time now. Trick Williams, looking to deliver some hard justice, is Dijak, no stranger to the Dragunov for those that have been following NXT as long as I have. Josh Briggs from the bar. And Big Strong Boy, former NXT UK champion, former challenger to put the titles together at Worlds Collide and finally coming out of meditation. And won his chance in last shot fatal 4-way action, Tyler Bate. One of these 5 men will get an NXT championship match against one of these 2 men. So I just want you all to put that in perspective. Here's the before, and here's possibly your after. Everybody's minds are thinking about. Chris, you start off. Who do you have winning the men's Iron Survivor Challenge?
Well, I'm going to say this. This is the match I'm looking forward to the most. Josh, I don't think Tyler Bate is winning. He does have a shot at this, but I just don't think it's Tyler Bates' time because he was just in a championship match not that long ago and he lost. So Tyler Bates not winning. Josh Briggs is definitely not winning. Dijak, he needs a lot of improvement to be contender for the NXT champion. I don't see Dijak winning. I'm narrowed this down to 2. It's either Braun Breaker or Trick Williams. Let me talk to you about Braun Breaker here. If Braun wins, he will take on Ilya Dragunov before going to the main roster. And I just don't think that you need to have Braun Breaker going for a championship on his way out. I don't think that is the plan. I've been saying it all along. I've been saying it to myself, and I said, okay, this is where my booking comes to fruition. And I'm ready to explain my booking decision for you guys. I'm going with Whip That Trick on Saturday.
Okay.
I have Trick Williams winning. And that's why I lean towards Lexis King winning because of Carmelo and what is going on with who attacked Trick. And I think it is Carmelo. Why say Trick Williams win? And why I said earlier that Ilya Dragunov loses the championship at Vengeance Day, it's because of Trick Williams. I see Trick Williams being the NXT champion. And at the end of Vengeance Day, you have this big celebration. You're going to have everybody saying, whoop that trick, whoop that trick, whoop that trick. And Booker T is going to say, I like it. We're going to hear that at the end of that match. Carmelo is going to come out, celebrate with Trick for his moment. Then immediately after the closing moments of NXT Vengeance Day, before the show goes off the air, when it's almost about ready to, Carmelo attacks Trick Williams, turns heel, and we now know that it was Carmelo all along that attacked Trick Williams. And you'll get at NXT Stand and Deliver on the biggest weekend of all time, WrestleMania weekend, Trick Williams defends the NXT Championship against Carmelo Hayes. And what we saw this year at Stand and Deliver, Trick and Carmelo celebrating with Trick. No, Trick celebrating with Carmelo after Carmelo winning the NXT Championship. This time around, these two face off each other for the NXT Championship. Trick Carmelo, NXT Champion, at Stand and Deliver on WrestleMania Saturday. And that is going to be Carmelo's final match in NXT before going to the main roster.
You book a story 1 year, long-term storytelling, right, JJ? All right. Well, before I give it to JJ here, let's go ahead and just break down real quick because I also want to say this. Thank you. Or let me go ahead and do it right. Thank you. Thank you, WWE, for actually having everybody qualify for this freaking thing. What a weird concept for a multi-person match to give freaking meaning towards everybody in it. Not just a bunch of random jabronis that should be in it. But I digress. Anyway, sorry. Trick Williams, of course, beat Joe Coffey. Josh Briggs beat Carmelo Hayes thanks to Lexis King involvement. Braun Breaker beat Eddie Thorpe after spearing him in the next week. And Tyler Bate won the last chance after falling short against Dijak. I admit that kind of surprised me. JJ, majority are going with, you already know what's up, bruv. They're whooping that Trick. 67%. The second runner up is Braun Breaker. Third is Dijak at 10%. There are 2 votes for Tyler Bate, none for Josh Briggs. JJ,
Damn.
where do you stand? Yeah, about to say, how's that Josh Briggs spot going for you there? Where do you stand?
That country boy ain't getting no respect.
Country boy getting no respect. Country boy will survive. Country boy gonna die.
No country love.
Yeah,
Well,
not copyright.
I definitely don't think Braun is going to take it. Braun doesn't need it. Braun in the title is like the 4 horsewomen with me in the WWE women's titles. They just need to keep him away for right now.
I agree. He's not wrong.
I like to a certain degree what Chris just spelled out there, but I don't think they're going to wait 2 months to tell us who attacked Trick Williams. They're not going to make us wait that long. WWE is about the quick fix, and especially in NXT. I'm all about long-term storytelling and everything, but they're not going to make us wait 2 months for that. They're going to give it to us at deadline. We're going to find out on Saturday. I just don't see us going past Saturday with that. Dijak, I agree. He's another one of those guys who just came back down to NXT to put people over. Mm-hmm. He's not going to be a major player, if you will. He's the enhancement guy. He's the utility guy.
I agree.
I'm actually leaning towards Tyler Bate in this one.
Oh.
I'm leaning towards Tyler Bate because the big strong boy and Ilya have got some great history.
Yes, they do.
And I feel like the big strong boy is his whole, for lack of a better term, tranquilo bullshit has just been kind of like he needs to take it up a notch. I feel like the big strong boy really needs to step his game up, especially with the championship and everything. And Ilya is that's money right there. Like you can literally print money with Tyler Bate and Ilya Dragunov.
And make me lose my voice.
Most of the other matches, you can't print money. I like Josh Briggs, but Dragunov versus Briggs ain't gonna print money. Dijak versus Dragunov isn't gonna print money. Breaker versus Dragunov isn't gonna print money. Trick and Dragunov, maybe a little bit, but you're not gonna get that rush. You know who's sitting and why?
No, you're fine. He's talking to the dog. I got you, Chris. Don't worry, man.
But yeah.
Continue,
So Tyler Bate, I think is gonna be the one to take this here.
All righty. Well, with the whole suspension of disbelief of who attacked Trick, will Trick get tricked? Dijak and Ilya Walter have faced each other before. JJ, you and I called that exclusively for your members. Become a member today at Casa de 18 Studios for the small price of $5. Support the Renegade rest of the day for all wrestling content in the members only section at Casa de 18 Studios. But I digress. Anyway, we of course called that Vengeance Day when it was Ilya Dragunov versus Dijak, and he was the last man standing. So yes, they are no strangers to each other. Tyler Bate, who has been one of the most peaceful at heart, soul, and mind, needs to find that fire within him if he's going to remind us why he is truly the big, strong boy that took Walter to the limit in like 45 minutes back at NXT UK TakeOver Cardiff, even though he fell short. Damn it. I kind of am with JJ here when I look at this. Braun Breaker does not need to go after the championship again. And why either Dragunov and Braun Breaker have not faced each other one-on-one, they can do that later as an exhibition. I don't need Braun Breaker with the title. He did it for 1 year. Then people turned on him, all right? You can try and experiment the next week all you want, so just get another Torpedo Moscow that will take the lights out. Country Boy, go make drinks at the bar. Go to Barmageddon with Nikki Bella, whatever. At this point, though, Trick Williams, he's already got a story. He doesn't need to go after the title. He needs to try and prove that he has surpassed him, and his time is now. Doesn't need a championship. What about that? A story that doesn't need a championship. What a crazy concept. For me, I'd look at the most intense match I could get at the next NXT PLE, and Tyler Bate and Ilya Dragunov is the one-on-one I've been waiting for a long damn time to see. I think Tyler Bate needs this win. I'm going with big, strong boy Tyler Bate. Honestly, this match was not hard for me to pick versus the women one, but the women one's got more predictability. This one basically comes down to Trick's got a story. Tyler Bate's got nothing but meditation. Tyler Bate needs this. I'm going with Tyler Bate. Walter, your close fades out. Where do you stand on the men's Iron Survivor Challenge?
Before I go, JJ, were you putting your hand up or are you just stretching?
I was going to ask a question to Noah, but I can wait. Go ahead and get your thoughts in, Walter.
You sure?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Just
all right.
Sure. Go ahead.
We can't always get what we want. I wouldn't mind Dijak winning because Ilya versus Dijak, a sequel to that Last Man Standing, would be, whew, like that was a hell of a match to me.
It was.
But, and I also I want Trick to win, but I feel like Trick is going to be in the lead, and then something's going to happen where Bate steals it a few times, and it's going to lead to that story where who attacked Trick. So something is going to happen where Trick gets distracted, or something makes Trick lose focus. I want to pick Trick so bad, but I'm going with you guys. I think Tyler Bate pulls it out, and honestly, I'm going to predict he's only going to win by one score. He's going to have one more fall than Trick. Like, I really think it's going to be between Trick and Bate, and then he's going to pull, like, with like 4 seconds left, he's going to pull a crazy last-second win. Like, I'm really saying that, yeah, that's what I think is going to happen. He's going to steal the win. Like, it's not going to be an obvious win.
I mean,
or something's going to happen with Trick. Yeah, something's gonna happen with Trick in that penalty box with the Hayes story. It's gonna conclude Saturday. Something's gonna happen, and so that's why I don't think he wins it. Dijak, like JJ said, was called down to put people over. Braun Breaker needs to be on the main roster like yesterday. So like I don't know why he's still in these NXT matches. Like I get a big strong guy. Sean probably doesn't want to give him up. He looks good in matches, and I just think he needs to be in the main roster like yesterday. Maybe he's Royal Rumble bound next year. So we'll see. So, but yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Taylor by default because I just feel like Trick has to finish this whole story. No pun intended against Cody, but I think Trick has to finish this whole thing with Carmelo Hayes and whatever the outcome is wrapped up before he becomes a champ. I do see Trick being a champion in 2024, but not via this route. He's got to finish the rivalry with Carmelo Hayes or whoever attacked him or Lexus King or whatever's going to happen. He needs to do that, get past all that, and then become the champion when it's all about him, regardless of whether JJ's right about him setting up his own attack or Chris is right about Hayes. So I think it has to be Tyler Bates by default.
Yeah, I'm about to say, JJ, how long have you and I been waiting for Trick Mello game? But how about Trick Williams versus Carmelo Hayes? Insert stage here. But you also have a thought, so go ahead. As right now, it's 3 Tyler Bates and 1 Trick Williams. Less Chris choose to change this before we go off the air. But what was on your mind, JJ?
Well, really quickly to Walter, I think the reason Braun hasn't gone up yet was because when they did the draft, he was still so fresh in his heel turn. They wanted to run him heel for a year and see how he handled things. That way they knew when they drafted him if they wanted him to go up as a face or a heel.
The dynamic.
And to your point as to why the women's was so much harder to call, that's because NXT's got the second best women's division in the fucking US. That's why it's so hard to call, because they've got so many great women that literally any one of them has a reason, whereas the guys, every single one of them doesn't have a reason.
Very fair analysis.
It's very much like the tournament over in AEW right now. Like, the people that are there to take L's, that are there to just get pinned every week, that are, if they're lucky, they're going to get 1 or 2 points because of time limit draws. Your Jay Lethals, your Daniel Garcias. None of them are going to get W's. None of them are going to get 3 points. You look at the guys and you're like, Briggs is there to get pinned.
How many times, though?
Is there to get pinned.
That's a big dude to pin, though, to be fair.
I think he's lost just about every match in NXT since he's been down there. Maybe he's won 1 or 2.
Keep in mind, JJ.
He's been down there for a good 6 months of this year, if not longer, and he's maybe won 2 matches.
He did beat Tyler Bates to get in this match in the first place.
That's fair. That's 1.
Yeah, that one better. You know what? Again,
one of those 2.
Wins and losses matter a little bit in WWE NXT. Just saying. And I do think that Briggs and Dijak will be your fall, people. Let's keep in mind, in last year's men's war games, that was extremely competitive. The first fall was rendered at about after the 5-minute mark. And then one competitor got 2 falls back-to-back in the span of 20 seconds and ended up winning it with a score of 3 versus 2 rest of the field, with one individual going goose egg. That's JD McDonough, in case you're all wondering. He was the bottom last year's deadline and ended up with butt kiss. And he started it. The guy coming in at the 10-minute mark won the whole thing. So again, while we are counting out Country Boy and Justice, who might as well just come to tag team and start their own thing, Country Justice. There you go, WWE. Pay me royalties. I do think, please don't listen to me. I do think that it's going to be interesting to see the dynamic that starts off. Remember, we have no idea what to start. We have no idea the order. There is no advantages about who gets last, who gets first, who gets middle, et cetera, et cetera. And at the end of the day, you're working against a clock that counts up, nothing else. So we'll see what happens. But I am looking forward to Deadline, particularly for these Deadline matches, and I do think that they're going to lead to some interesting results, and I think it's going to be a little bit of foreshadowing for what you could see lead the NXT in 2024. Besides the fact we got a men's breakout tournament that I'm sure they might talk about more about also coming up as well during NXT Deadline. But that being said, guys, that's the entire card. A few comments here. People said should be a good show. Roxanne Perez makes her return. I think somebody botched that. Said meant to say Cora Jade. But overall, I'm looking forward to this, and I hope everybody enjoyed the conversation. So unless we get some super chats in here and some other thoughts, I think we'll go around and do our thing, and everybody have fun to do. So thank you all once again for tuning in. Again, get your predictions in. The forums in the chat. It will also be on the community tab on my YouTube channel. It will also be in the comments below of this video on my YouTube channel once this stream concludes. And we thank all of you. Before we bid you have fun to do, let's go around and do our plugs. And we'll see what happens, Josh. I'm just saying. Chris, always a pleasure. Good luck in the finale of NXT and stay tuned for the Impact Forum. I know you're involved in that too, but is there anybody you want to plan and promote, and where can people find you besides social media, you crazy goof?
Well, it's always a pleasure being on the Simply Predicting panel tonight. I had an amazing time. Then my social media tabs. We got my X account. We got uppercase C, lowercase ROTZ 24. We got my Instagram, CMROTZ_6472. My Facebook, Christopher Rotz. My Snapchat is C_Rotz17. My TikTok is Rotz_2423. My Discord is uppercase C, lowercase ROTZ 2423. I'm on all social medias. Just hit me up and I'll talk to you about wrestling. I'll talk to you about sports. I'll talk to you about TV shows. I'll talk to you about gaming. I'll talk to you about life in general. And I'm down on making friends. So it's always a pleasure being on the Simply Predicting panel. The next time you'll be getting all of us for a Simply Predicting panel. I think Noah has the graphics for that.
I probably don't. So just say the next show, and then we'll continue on
the
here
next
because
show
there's
will
plenty
be,
of stuff.
The next show will probably be. Is there going to be a show for Impact's Final Resolution?
I might just re-record that because they're the same day. At this point, it'll be Ring of Honor Final Battle, and that will be next week.
Okay, it'll be Ring of Honor Final Battle.
Yeah.
Date and time will be determined, and then we'll end the year with AEW War's End, where you guys are going to be getting to see Maxwell Jacob Freeman, MJF, defends the AEW World Championship against Samoa Joe. And that is right, is going to be in MJF's hometown of Long Island, New York. Are we going to see the Devil MJF retain, or is MJF going to lose as the bidding war of 2024 is about ready to begin? We will talk more about that on the AEW Wars and Predictions video. But it's always a pleasure being on the panel tonight. I have to get out. So see you guys down the road. Enjoy your night and say yeah to NoDQ.com.
Yeah, appreciate you, Chris. And that's not an insult. That's just a fact of life. Get a good night's rest, my friend. God bless you. See you next time. And then there were three wise men, not copyright. Well, Walter, it's been fun. I'm glad you got to join Simply Predicting finally. I look forward to seeing you back on this platform again. You're always welcome anytime. I don't have your grab it, but go ahead and plug your stuff because I know you got stuff.
I'm glad to be up here. It was fun, and it turned. I started thinking more about maybe that whole Trick Williams thing leads to a triple threat with Hayes, King, and Trick Williams. So maybe we'll end up getting them stand and deliver triple threat between them three, which I wouldn't mind. But So on the X, you can catch me at Walter Alex Cruz. Is spelled out there on the bottom. The Instagram is Cal Fire Farms. And of course, catch me on YouTube, my own channel. The next UFC watch along should be 296, was I believe December 16th, because that's when Kobe Covington takes on Leon Edwards for the UFC middleweight title. So, or excuse me, welterweight title. So I think that's the next watch along for my channel. And then catch us every week on the open mic nights and Saturdays. Well, Sunday for one special, as Jeff alluded to earlier. Yeah,
but regular time, you're not wrong. Regular time, you're not wrong.
Yeah, yeah, and then also please check out the fun. A couple weeks ago, the fun interview with, or was it last week or 2 weeks ago?
It was last
2 weeks
week.
ago.
It was
last week, right? Okay.
You know, told you so.
Yeah, time comes all together with me. Permanently tired, people. With Gino, catch that open mic night with Gino, because that was just a fun open mic night. So catch us on Casa de 18 Studios, the Jeff Meacham Network, and just follow all of us.
Fair enough. And a shout out to, speaking of follows, of course, Cleveland Combat, Josh Mansfield, and of course, the Cleveland Con Andrew. Appreciate you, my friend. I hope that you're doing well. Hope you and your family are doing well. Hope you all had a lovely vacation. All right. Well, Walter, thank you. And again, good luck. And again, good luck to everybody in the finale of the NXT League. Who takes the whole thing when the deadline concludes? We'll find out soon enough, too, whether you're Galaxy or Team, whether it's one time or continuing. I hope you all just had fun and stay tuned for more City Predicting. Well, JJ, again, you and I, it's our last NXT call of the year this Saturday. Should be a lot of fun, but also we have stuff ahead of that too, and I got all the graphics in. So I know, first off, it's always a pleasure simply predicting and calling stuff for you, my friend. I always mean that. And again, this NXT is your NXT, and for me, it's better than what it used to be. Well, let's go ahead and run through the plugs that you have. First off, where can people find you? I'll start with the simple one that you didn't even need to give me because I always have this.
Well, you can always find me on Instagram, the Renegade JJ Williams, on the Twix, ROWJJ Williams, and on YouTube, Casa D18 Studios. Thank you to everybody who's watching there currently. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Okay, so beginning with tomorrow, across the Jeff Meacham Network Multiverse of Media, we will be covering tribute to the troops. You know, we've kind of half jokingly said here the last couple days that if we had known that this was just going to be a standard SmackDown, then we probably wouldn't have done it. No disrespect intended to the troops, as Tribute to the Troops is generally separate from SmackDown.
Correct.
But it kind of is what it is. We love and respect our troops, so we're going to be doing a watch along of that tomorrow. Then on Saturday, we have the double header, No Rest for the Wicked, No Rest for Noah. 4:30 p.m. Pacific, 7:30 Eastern will be Final Resolution with Noah and Dattila on the call. And then 8 o'clock p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Eastern, we will be calling NXT Deadline. There will be no open mic night tomorrow. Instead, there will be a Sunday brunch version of open mic night beginning at noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern. Going to be a little bit more lighthearted fare, trying to come up with topics that aren't super duper serious so that we can, you know, just have a little bit more relaxed fun.
I like it.
From there, we go to Dad's Not Always on Wrestling Monday. Will be live. The top 10 Christmas songs that aren't about Christmas. It should be interesting to dive into that because there's a lot more Christmas songs that you know, than you realize that aren't really about Christmas.
As you have educated me.
And then from there, we go to the eve of Christmas Eve, open mic night karaoke, the second annual, and honestly, the show that started it all for our karaoke extravaganzas. December 23rd, we will be singing Christmas songs once again, much like we did last year. It was where Noah really started to shine and show his love for singing for the fans.
Simple Man only does commentary.
No, he does not. That's bullshit. That's BEWSHIT. That's bullshit. We have seen Noah sing. We have seen Noah dance. We have seen Noah do all kinds of crazy shit.
Things
So
are
don't
different.
sit there and say that the Simple Man only does commentary, because that's
Can
bullshit.
you some identity for this foolishness?
I do, and you know what? Thank you for allowing me to.
Damn it.
And then on Christmas Day, no, it will not be live. It will be canned. But on Christmas Day, Dad's not always on wrestling. The top 10 Christmas songs about Santa Claus himself. And if you go to Jeff's Twitter account right now, you can vote on what will be number one. Here Comes Santa Claus, or Santa Claus is Coming to Town.
Damn.
We ranked 3 through 10, and we were sitting there going back and forth, and we were like, it is too hard to determine which one of these should be number one. So what do? We throw it to the multiverse. It is up there on Jeff's Twitter account to vote for.
Okay.
No specific version as far as the vote, Josh. It's just which song do you think is better? We do have graphics picked out for specific versions of the songs. But it's not about that, because we don't want versions of the songs to sway people.
That's fair. That's fair, because artists' presentations, like, wrestling, what character you go
Exactly.
with versus how they present themselves or where they're at, the scenery. If people still watch music videos, I don't even know if music videos are still a thing. Anyway, continue.
We want people to think about the lyrical content and how the song itself makes you feel, not how the person who sings it makes you feel.
That's fair.
Therein lies the difference. And then, of course, on New Year's Eve,
We're gonna
Coast
die.
to Coast Shenanigans, episode 100 of Open Mic Night. Highlight
Unbelievable.
reel. All the time zones going to get counted down. Celebrating the 4th anniversary, kicking off year 5 of the multiverse of media and the Jeff Meacham Network. It's going to be shenanigans afoot.
Oh Lord, they're gonna try and call back all the shenanigans from this past year, from the games to the madness to freaking wrestling Tourette's, to everything in between. But I digress. Oh gosh, this December is not letting up, isn't it? Dadgummit. Well,
No, sir.
you only just began. All right. Well, JJ, again, always a pleasure. And to Cleveland, to Cleveland, Colin Andrew, again, I just want to encourage people to just enjoy the wrestling too. I appreciate you all that tuned in. Let me share my passion, and I love doing this. I love tracking this, and I love doing this for all 5 leagues I've hosted this year, whether it's a collaboration with No DQ or just what has become Simply Predicting. Maybe I'll create a new intro for Simply Predicting now that I think about it too, since we're going to enter a new year. And Josh, you're already on the hot seat, man. And yeah, all the wrestling, all the professional wrestling. Damn it! And sports entertainment. But I digress. And no. We are not talking about that tonight. You can stay tuned for that stupid nonsense on Open Mic Night. And Arlene, thank goodness that's not up 2025. Don't get any ideas on New Year's Eve to try and get super chats in for that. Yeah, got it. Friggin' wild card night. No. Even if I'm drunk, I'm gonna try and have a bottle. I'm not. Anyway, and also, Walter, yeah, as you alluded to, you forgot to mention Super Liable will also start off next year too with NWA coverage. But folks, there will be leagues for WWE, NXT, AEW, Ring of Honor, and Impact Wrestling all next year again in 2024. Again, go out to everybody this weekend as the NXT and the Impact leads conclude. And again, I do thank all of you who's been with us this entire ride too. If people want to engage with me and be a part of Simply Predicting, whether on video or off screen, because I know people are camera shy, or want to be part of the fun, you know what you got to do. Simply put, follow me on the Twitter and on YouTube. And then Foster1916 for all things wrestling. Shout out, of course, to the ATW family on all the social media platforms, including the Twitter. And shout out to the newest members. Welcome to the family. Check out our podcast, The Interview and Prompts. We just did another episode recently. We'll do another episode towards year end, before it's world end, as we look back on what we approve of in 2023 and we hope to see in 2024. Please follow my friend Amara Jade, who continues to prove that Jade's worth more than gold in her continued ventures in professional wrestling. Cheers to you, my friend across the pond. Hope that you are doing well. Again, follow me on the Twitter for all the Prediction League forums, all the Prediction League updates, all the leaderboards, all the coverage, and a simple hello in your day, and a positive reprieve on live thoughts I have in wrestling too, primarily what I watch, mostly AEW, because I have watch parties every week for that with my friends. What's up, King? And again, the Still YouTube channel on the community tab is where you can find the forums as well as giving your own simple assessment towards the biggest shows in all things wrestling. And why do I do this madness, you say? For I am but nothing more but a simple man and a lifelong fan of professional wrestling. Damn it! But I digress. Only wish to encourage you. There are only winners. There are no losers. There are no betters. Just fans with opinions with this passion we all share. So at the end of the day, folks, support one another, respect each other, protect your mentality too. Treasure your families and just enjoy life and enjoy professional wrestling. It is truly as simple as that. As alluded to a little earlier by my hype man of sorts, there is still a couple of city predictings left. I will be canning Impact Wrestling because it's the same week. But next week, we will do Ring of Honor Final Battle. And then the final week of the year, it will be AEW World's End. Date and time and panelists to be determined. And of course, me and JJ will be back with you before the year's end for a simple take on AEW World's End. Or honestly, it might be the first video of 2024. It hasn't been decided yet. And speaking of 2024, why the city predicting leagues don't officially begin until the 3, 2, 1 Royal Rumble, there will be a city predicting exhibition for, of course, my intro to professional wrestling every year. And that will be, now at this number, Wrestle Kingdom 18 in Tokyo Dome. But I digress. So stay tuned for more on that and the colorful panel of analysts and guests I will have for that. But until then, I think that's all I have to say for tonight, too. So again, thank you all for tuning in. As always, please like, subscribe, comment, and tell a friend. Hit the bell when this video goes live on demand on either of these YouTube channels. What are you talking about, boy? Dadgummit. Look.
He's talking about you singing Disney for Arlene.
Good grief.
He's responding to that comment.
Super chat on New Year's Eve and see what happens. I'm sure Jeff and JJ will make sure that's official. Anyway, but that's it for tonight, as long as no other super chats come in as I finish my sentence out. So again, folks, as always, we thank you for tuning in. Please subscribe, comment, tell a friend. Good luck to everybody involved in the leagues. And until next time, as I leave you here tonight, make a positive impact in life. We will see you tomorrow where we honor the troops. And then Saturday, head into Fire Resolutions and Deadline. But for now, on this Thursday Eve, at least if you're here on the East Coast, have a good night. And thank you for tuning in to our City Predicting video and coverage of NXT Deadline as the clock finally hits the top of the mark, 1 hour and 48 minutes. Have a good night, folks. We'll see you tomorrow for SmackDown, honoring the troops.